What's up, everyone? Mike back with you again on another episode of One and Done with Zeke.
What up?
Not much. All right. So for today's episode, we'd like to, talk about the collectibility aspect of DBS. And this kind of was inspired by one of our listeners who sort of included in one of their questions basically what our thoughts would be on booster boxes not having any kind of logoing or any kind of branding on the wrapping and how that hurts collecting. And so we thought we'd take that idea and sort of make it its own general topic of collectability and specifically ways that we think Bandai could possibly improve the collectability aspect of their product and maybe help generate a lot more collectors to come in and get into the hobby, or possibly getting more existing collectors excited about chasing stuff. So I guess I could take a first stab at it. Actually, the feedback is something that I've already thought about myself. One of the things that I thought was really cool about Score sealed boxes, it's a little while ago, so for some of you who may not know, you could always look it up. But basically, Score boxes used to actually have Score on the seal, and I thought that was really cool. And Wizards of the Coast obviously does the same thing with their packaging. So, from a collectability standpoint and even from an authenticity standpoint, it doesn't obviously make it impossible to fake, but I think it definitely helps add some legitimacy to the packaging and definitely makes it harder for people to fake. And I think it also just looks cooler because it feels more official when the box actually has the branding kind of on the seal. So I think that's definitely an aspect that Bandai could improve, and it's something that I'm hoping that maybe they start adopting at some point. But as of now, unfortunately, it's just sealed clear plastic that we kind of have to deal with. So I definitely think that's one aspect that could be an opportunity to improve the collectability of sealed boxes, and I'd love for Bandai to adopt something similar to what Score and Wizards and some of the other card games have. Another idea that I've had that I think could really get collectors excited and possibly attract more collectors is if they started having an edition version. Kind of again, with Score, they used to have a limited version. And with Pokemon, we all know first edition. Same with Yu-Gi-Oh! I think having some concept of that would be really, really fun, and I think would get a lot of people excited to chase stuff. We kind of have that in some sense with the pre-release stamps, because they're only giving out obviously during pre-release and they have a special stamp on it. But for me, it doesn't really have that collector feel to it. It's more of event based rather than print based, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
no, it
if
does.
they took that idea but reworded it, I think that'd be a lot cooler.
I think I wish the first edition concept was still alive, because I feel like only Yu-Gi-Oh does it. I don't think anybody does anything like that anymore. Sadly.
Yeah, I mean it's sad. I mean I think it's a great way to get a lot of people excited about chasing stuff, especially when it's the first set. I mean, I guess one part of it could be that anything that's not with that stamp probably doesn't have any value, and so trying to sell that product might be harder, and obviously distributors and shop sellers wouldn't want that. Maybe that's why they stopped doing it. I don't know, but from a collector standpoint, definitely it's pretty cool to go after cards that say something on it that kind of makes you know that it was part of their early release. So
Yeah, I think. Well, I think the idea is great. You're right. It does have a lot of factors that may hinder future release products. I mean, yeah, a lot can go right and a lot can go wrong.
Do you think players would care? I mean, I know collectors it would either be first edition or nothing at all. But do you know if, from your experience, even being a player yourself, would it matter for you if your deck had first edition on the cards or not, or you'd be okay with the unlimited version of it?
So the way Dragon Ball's distributed, as a player, I don't think it would
Yeah.
matter. I don't think it would matter too much. I think.
Because then you could kind of satisfy both worlds, right? You have collectors excited and happy about the first edition stuff, and then you have players that don't care and they could just have their non-first edition stuff that they could use in their decks and play with.
Right, and the thing is, there are people who are players who are, they just like top rarity, which is cool because it gives them something to chase sometimes. With that being said, I think the only way you can successfully make a first edition. So this is something that Dragon Ball does for core sets for set 10. They're gonna do it for set 11 and so on and so forth. Is 1 week before a set comes out, before its official release, the weekend before. So let's say a set comes out this Friday. This past weekend would have been pre-release weekend. Stores get an X amount of quantity of product specifically for pre-release weekend, so they can host pre-release tournaments, etc., and so on. The best way to execute that first edition in modern day now is you have to make first edition extremely limited, like not even like limited to the point where half of wave 1 of a product is first edition and half of it is unlimited, and that's just the wave 1 of the product. Like off the bat, it's like hyper.
What would you say with subsequent waves? Just always have it unlimited, or
yes,
still
yes.
have the similar?
No, just always have it unlimited. Like
Yeah.
we're talking what you got pre-release weekend would be great if all the product you got during that pre-release weekend either said pre-release or said first edition or said something that would signify that you only got it this weekend. I know the pre-release stamps kind of enable that, but the problem with the pre-release stamps is that they're only on commons and uncommons, not in super rares. Oh, and rares, but not super rares, SPRs or secrets. And I feel like that would drive a huge chase for collectors, because I know personally I would hunt for that first edition secret from product you could only get during that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That would just add like a huge caveat, like. Yeah. But we're talking like it would have to be super limited, and honestly, Dragon Ball has that capability in terms of like.
Well, I mean, they kind of already do it with their pre-release stamp, right?
Right, but just the secrets, they're super rares, and the SPRs don't have that stamp.
Exactly, yeah. But I mean, like that idea of having something that says on it that it was part of the first print is in existence. It just, first of all, isn't across all rarities. And second of all, the actual words on it don't really make it feel like it was something a collector would want. It's mostly to remember that you were there at the store getting the product. So it kind of is like a different, kind of feeling that you get from it than you would if you saw the word first edition or like first wave or like limited print. Something that kind of like makes you feel like it was really part of that first limited print. Like I think that'd be a great way for
I think the
to
best.
Get excited.
So you know in Dragon Ball cards in the bottom corner, in the right hand corner, where it says like the set number, like what card number it is in the set.
Yeah.
I think the best way to do it would be if next to that was just like in the same diamond where it says the set number, just make the diamond bigger, and just make the diamond big enough to fit the word limited, or have like a shortened version of the word limited on.
So you don't like their stamp that they already use?
No. Well, I know. It's not
that
that
just keep that stamp and just change the words to say first edition or something.
Yeah, but see, I feel like doing that would be weird in terms of like what's already been established. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird. It feels weird adding the word first edition after like 12 sets. You know what I mean? But it feels fine removing first edition after 12 sets. Hence, Pokemon got rid of first edition after like 12 sets.
Yeah.
So I feel like the word limited would fit better because it wouldn't stand out, but and I'm okay with that because like first edition in Pokemon, it doesn't pop, it just says first edition underneath the image.
But it is like on the halfway point of the card though. Same with Yu-Gi-Oh.
Right, but I feel like for collectors, knowing that it's more rare, to me adds the caveat of desirability, and having the word limited is just a nice way to indicate it. I think the stamp. What if the stamp said limited instead of first edition?
That'd be cool. I mean, anything that makes you know that it's part of the first print run that doesn't say anything about the set itself, I think is cool. Like, I just can't stand seeing pre-release set 9 or whatever stamped on a card. So
I don't know if you noticed, but Draft Box 4 and 5, while they weren't pre-release stamp cards, they had these special they had these special draft tournaments where you can get stamp cards from the set. There were stamp commons and uncommons.
But what did the stamp say?
it said the set number in the same font.
See, I don't like that though.
So you know how Dragon Brawl had that font that said Dragon Brawl and it had like the explosion behind it.
Yep.
That entire logo was in the middle of the whole card, of the entire card, and it was like it took up like it was on top of the card. I gotta find an image to show you, but yeah, basically it's in the middle of the damn card, and it's like not in the corner, not in the middle side. It's literally in the middle.
But see, like to me, that's not as exciting as if I saw a stamp that said limited or like first edition or like something. I think that the idea of having some kind of stamp that says that on it, I don't know, man. I think that do a lot of things to make it exciting for collectors for sure.
Oh no, for me definitely. To me,
but you just more subtle. You like it like in the corner. You don't like it, in the center of the card.
Yeah, I think being educated and knowing how subtle it is fine to me, because I know that the card is limited.
It sounds like you're a fan of the way Score did it then, because I think Score was also the bottom corner, right, with the sticker.
I think so too. I just think like similar to Yu-Gi-Oh and others. I just like the simplicity, and it wouldn't cause too much of a difference, because I think adding the word first edition is kind of like too much for Dragon Ball. Yeah, I just think it's a little too much in my opinion. I don't know. I mean, that would help make it more collectible without making it in your face. I think the best way to execute it, like I said, is that do it during that pre-release weekend, where like the boxes the stores get during that weekend are the only boxes that say the word limited, or at least make the pre-release stamp have super rares, SPRs, and secrets too. Something to make it even more chaseable. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I mean the stamps are really hard to get already, So making all the cards be stampable and have that. I mean Magic does it with all their cards. You can get a stamp foil version of any card in the set during pre-release weekend. That comes, you get one stamp card in your pre-release box, and it could be freaking anything, and that'd be cool.
Well, for all you guys still listening out there, thanks again for joining us. I think this was a really fun topic. Definitely there's ways that we think Bandai can improve. So with that, that's pretty much it. So thanks again, Zeke, for your time, and we'll talk to you guys next time.
Have a good one, guys.